this morning. This is my wheelhouse. And I'm not sure why. I don't know what, and I don't need to confess to all of our patrons my uh, preoccupation with forgiveness. But I am a little bit preoccupied with the efforts that we go through to redeem ourselves after we've done something wrong. It's not as much on the pre side, like before we do this bad thing, I'm going to spend a lot of time thinking about whether I should do this bad thing. It's these reckless things that we do without thinking about them, and then we must atone for those things. That's what I'm kind of fascinated by. I like a character that is living, who's living his own punishment, who's created his own punishment by just feeling guilty about the things that he's done wrong.
Well, that's why they used to flog themselves in the past. So the flagellum.
Not everyone flogged themselves.
No, I know, but that was a method of forgiveness, self-forgiveness.
Yeah.
You know, because those feelings go away with physical pain.
Well, because all you can think about is the physical pain, right?
Yeah. But, you know, once
it's going to hurt so bad, you won't be able to think about anything else.
Your mortification of the flesh works because you're giving up your pain to God, and in that forgiveness, you're doing it to be forgiven.
I'm fascinated by that. Like, just the idea of physically punishing yourself. Although, you know what? I will say this. I think that any form of extreme exercise where people push themselves to some kind of limits, right, is that tradition of self-flagellation, of trying to... Go ahead.
It was similar to women, you know, girls who cut themselves. Right? I mean, that's a relieving of some sort of mental stress.
Yeah, you can focus on that instead of focusing on whatever else was happening. Yeah, a diversion, if you will. I like the idea that the person who can forgive you is no longer around, because then you can become the character that is so preoccupied with getting forgiveness they're never going to get. They're never going to achieve that they can ruin everything else in their path because they're so obsessed with this.
Right.
And I think that's going to end up being Brian's experience, is his obsession with being forgiven. Puts out of his way, out of his reach, anything that's really worth having, his life that's worth living, because he's so obsessed with this past that he can't ever really overcome. And that's a pretty compelling place to be, I think. And you're 23 or 24. Life is so short at 23 and 24. Like, you just think...
You don't feel it, though. You don't think it's short.
You just think like everything matters. Everything that's happening right now really matters. It doesn't. Right?
Nothing is as important as what's happening right now in high school, man.
Exactly.
Like some sort of pathetic teen drama.
There's an overinflation of importance at that age. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, patrons, for being our patrons. We appreciate you. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week when we're going to talk about Motivated by Ambition.